Just checking whether the lighting's okay and the framing's fine. Welcome to the vlog. It's PVA fishing I think today, PVA bag fishing. Now we're currently fishing in middle of winter and we're in Cheshire, we're on a sandpit. I'm hoping to pick out the first fish of the year because I just haven't really been fishing. It's set for the A1 pits last week and that was just try out the bivvy in a storm. I'm going to try and get a fish out of here. We're going to try first with a PVA bag. Now I'm going to be fishing this lake on a PVA bag and I'll explain the reason why. Because this gets fished a lot, and I mean a lot, there's a lot of bait goes in, but it goes in little pockets all over the lake, so the fish travel around looking for areas which is hard to start with and there's bait deposited on top of it. So what you got to do is just make sure you get a little bundle of bait on a hard spot, and you know it's a hard spot. Now some lakes have got silt and this one is a gravel pit, but because this is a gravel pit, it's not even a gravel pit, because this one is a former sand quarry, right? And they used to use the sand for making glass over in St. Helens. Now the reason why I'm saying this is because the sand in here can be hard and it can also be quicksand as well, which means it's got a thin crust or it's just liquid sand, which means that it just drops down and you can't see anything. Now the fish are used to digging in that, but I want to try and get a hard spot on top of a piece of crust, which means that the bait sits down, the bag opens and it's visible for the fish to see. Now the water's quite murky in here as well, so you need to make sure it's high attract so you can actually, they've got a chance of smelling it. That's if they want to eat it, of course. Now why? And why the PVA bags? Well, I have a control with the PVA bags of where it goes, and with doing some leading around first I get to find a hard spot. Once I've got the hard spot I clip up and then I start to make my PVA bag. Now what I'm going to do with this, instead of using pellet and things like that, I'm going to start off with a stick mix. Well, what I'm going to be doing first is I'm going to start off with a mixture of a stick mix and crushed boilie. I'm going to put a little bit of a tractor in there as well, something to stimulate, something sweet. It's winter at the moment, so they're looking for something that's easy to digest. That's theory anyway. Whether it's what they want to do I don't know, I'm not a fish. Firstly, I'm going to use a short rig, which is there, and that's going to be on a Ronnie rig, so it sits up. So there's a small cloud at the bottom of there, like kind of sediment. It can pop up a little bit, gives them more of a chance. Okay, I'm not going to flavour that because it's already smelly enough. It's squid and orange. Okay, so it's already smelly enough. I've got a fluorocarbon, boom, and I've got a little 2-ounce bomb, and I'm going to just pop that straight into the bag. Now what I've done here, I'll take that out of the way. I've got some little PVA sticks made already, yeah, with stick mix in there, right? I'll pop that down there. In here I've got a mixture of crushed boilie, squid and orange and stick mix. So I've got a little construction of chopped boilies, stick mix. Get the idea. Alright, that's going to go into the PVA bag. This has also got some attractors in it already, which are going to give this PVA bag a little bit of weight, because I want to get right out where I can see the fish. The fish are currently about 100 yards out, so I need to make sure there's enough weight with a PVA bag to get the distance required. Once I've done that, I'm either going to pick up 1 carp or 2 bream. Just depends what's going to actually pick the food up. I've no control over that, and I'm not going to try and edit this in a way that shows I'm brilliant carp angler. I'm just a fisherman, same as you go into a normal lake with no drum and bass or anything else like that occurs. It's just a fishing video. Let's see if we can try and catch some fish by using PVA bag method. Just going to build the bag up now. Right, the reason why I've damped this down as well with PVA friendly liquids is because I can make the bag more compact. Yep, now this bag is only 30 millimeters by 70 millimeters. It's not a big bag by any means, but what's going to happen is, because of the shape of it and the consistency of what I've got here, it's going to mean I'm going to be able to compact the bag really well. Now, how do you compact it? Just spin it. I'll show you in a second. Fill that up. Now there's chopped boilers in here as well, so which makes it a bit better. Give it a little bit of a poke down. Now I'm using a corder leader. Now I've cut the corder leader down because I don't want a long leader on it. I'm only using that so I can get it nice and well wrapped around the leader. What I need to do next, what I'm going to do is just rotate it, make it nice and compact. It's quite weighty that now, it's about 4 ounces, and make sure that goes around the corder leader. And use some tape, PVA tape, just tie that off. Make sure it's nice and tied off, nice and neat, and then from the bottom we compact it. Put that through there, tighten that off, cut the excess off on that. 1, 2. We only cut the excess off just so it makes it easier to fly through the air. The less resistance you've got, the better. You might be only fishing 20 yards out, so on that kind of distance there's no point in cutting the excess off. It'll melt in the water anyway, you're just being pedantic. There's a fish just crashed just there. Now I've got a fish, an aerator right close to me, and I've just seen a fish jump in there, so I may do that. Now what we're going to do next is compact it down from the bottom, like so, at the corner, fold it over and hold it in the second for a couple of seconds, like so, and do this as well. Because this has got chopped boilie and crumb in there, hold that again. It gives you a nice drum tight PVA bag, which is perfect for casting out. And that's how we're going to approach this session, is by using PVA bags, cast out, at showing fish. Now that's the imperative thing. Don't just put a PVA bag together and just cast it out willy-nilly. Wait until you actually see a fish in winter. If it means you got to wait 20 minutes, half an hour, do that. And then when you see a fish move, or signs of a fish, like you got a flat spot appearing, which is a circle which comes from nowhere in the lake, in between the weed, in between the waves, the ripples on the water, it'll come up as a little flat spot, you know. It's like no waves, no disturbance on the water. Look for them flat spots. So if you see a flat spot, cast to it. See a jumping fish? Definitely cast to that jumping fish. That's going to give you a better chance of a bite. Right, so let's see if we can try and catch some fish. So what baits are we using? That's a very good question, because I know you want to know. Firstly, I've been using on this session DNA S7. So that's a wafter, a carp-filled wafter, and that you can see. Now they've been glugged in S7 liquid as well. Alright, not sponsored to say that, it's just a hook bait I've used from time to time. over the years I've used that from time to time, to be perfectly honest, and that's why I keep it glugged up in there. That's the S7 from DNA Baits, and I always take the label off as well so people don't know if they're passing exactly what is in there, as you can see. Little trick of the trade. Now, the other thing I'm going to be using is a pop-up. If you can see that, it's only a £5. £5. Squid or Orange from Quality Baits. I used to be sponsored by Quality Baits many years ago. There we go, that's a pop-up, Squid and Orange pop-up. That's cork dust filled as well. I like cork dust because it stays more buoyant. I just like the cork dust, it's really good. That's that, you can see. Now I use loads of different kinds of baits. I've even got my own bait I'm using as well. I'm not using that today. With me on baits, I like to swap and change, you know, and a lot of people are that way inclined. Because I think you need to be variated, or have a variation of what you're actually using. I don't know if variated is even a word or not, but this is how I do my fishing. I like to swap and change. Some people like to stick to the same bait. I like to move it around a little bit, and as a result the hook baits are being fished over my crush baits, which is Squid and Orange, and take those PVA bags out of there, edge baits as well, 365. So I've got Squid and Orange and edge baits in the same crush, and Squid and Orange stick mix in there as well. Let's see if we can dig some out for you to see. Stick mix looks like Squid and Orange. There's a little bit left there. That's the stick mix, as you can see there. So that's in there as well. So you've got a bit of a Squid and Orange stick mix, which has got a few attractors in there. You've got a tractor in there as well, which is going to help draw the fish in. Not sure what kind of species will come to get drawn into that, but I know it's the best I can do on this water, trying to attract something. Now, last year I used on long range video some crayfish. I'm going to look at crayfish meal again, and that came from feed stimulants, feed stim, yeah, feed stimulants. That's who got some crayfish. That worked really well on here last year, but it's expensive, so I'm just looking at different ways of keeping the cost down. That's something you'd do. And by the way, don't forget there's a little subscribe button just there. Press and subscribe, like and subscribe if you like these kind of videos. All we can do is just try now, isn't it? Just try and get a fish and just chill out and get carp. Good fun though. Tell you what I do like to do as well. I'm on a bit of a diet at the moment. I love my crumpets when I'm on the bank. Can't beat a crumpet when you're fishing. Bit of crumpet is always great. Love it.
Your imagination will give you explanations to all the silly questions that you have ever asked him.